The incomparable. I say the undisputed. I say the multi-hyphenated. The yes,
The
massively
hype. I need this.
inspirational.
I need.
No, pouring
Can I
all the
hire
gas.
you as a hype person
Pouring
when I
all
wake
the
up every
gas.
morning?
No.
It should be like, yo, the incomparable.
No, the
talented.
incomparable, the swagged out. Only because you are doing so much in the creative world. You're doing so much in the community. You're doing so much in the lives of young women and young men, young black women and men,
Yes.
and young women and men of color. And it's I've always seen that even before Made in Her Image was a thing. And so I just want to like dive into so much of that because
Mhm.
again that's part of the reason why I can put so many hyphenates
Oh my gosh.
after you in front of Malachi. However, I want to read it off. So you being from Phoenix, Arizona, that's where I've met. I want to talk a little bit about that. But you've worked with the likes of Massage Envy, Facebook, and Color for Change with the project with Lena Waithe. While producing your own film, you have one upcoming called Souls.
Mhm.
And in 2018, you founded Made in Her Image. It's a nonprofit movement dedicated to creating the next generation of filmmakers and creatives with the mission of producing hashtag
Oh my
100
gosh.
films by the year of 2025. And October 22nd, this year, 2018, you brought it here to Los Angeles. So
Yep.
now you have it both in Phoenix and LA. So Malachi, thank you so
need-
much for being here.
Thank you. I
Thank
need an
you.
intro like that every single day. Like, seriously.
Oh man,
That was so good.
No, like I personally know your resume, but the professionally know
Right.
your resume, and only somewhat. There's actually so many layers. I mean, these are just projects that your name's officially on. However, you've collaborated with people over
Right.
the years across the globe. I met you especially at the as Malachi was rising in Phoenix, but then I got to know you personally, and so it's like I call you Shanice. And your family can call you
Shanice.
Shanice, all your pet
Family
names there.
your family, so family calls me Shanice. I
Okay.
mean, it's just
Yeah.
I mean, Malachi is from like I don't know. My parents called me Malachi as a nickname growing up because they're super religious. My middle name's Malika, and I don't know. It's just this weird joke for them to call me Malachi. But growing up, I was like, yo, Malachi is actually a super dope name.
But nothing about it is really a
Yeah.
joke now because
Right.
that is your creative body.
Mm-hmm.
Because where I'm at is unlocking and figuring out then who is Malachi, right? Because I'm seeing this world that you've created, and that you're really touching young women and men, and you're bringing them into this world of Malachi, and that's why I love exactly what you've done with Made in Her Image.
Thank you.
Congratulations on the film camps in Phoenix.
Thank you.
Bringing them then out here to LA. You're doing studio tours, Paramount, Disney, just to like name drop a few.
Yeah. All
eh,
random.
just random. Just
Word
say
of mouth.
Word of mouth. Why
Thank
why
you.
not? And on the note of your tattoos.
Yes. All my tattoos are, I mean, not all of them, but like for the most part, like just really strong black women type characters. And I think it started as just one piece. It was like the first bigger piece I had, and I have more pieces. And it just kind of trickled down from that. But I think really keeping within that theme of strength and vitality is important. Also, to just artisticness is really good. So, I mean, I don't try to get tattoos that are trash. I mean, I want all of them to be an art piece, which is kind of like how I see my life in a way and what I'm crafting.
I see that. Well, two questions to that.
Mm-hmm.
One, what are you crafting? We're gonna dive
Oh
into
my
that because
gosh.
this is the world according to Malachi. But then two, is God a black woman?
Yes. God is a black woman. God's been a black woman.
Been a black woman.
Been a
Speak
black
on
woman.
it. I agree.
Yep.
I would say I agree.
It's not even like a question. It just is.
Well, because I don't think that there's any way a man could have created all of this.
Oh, of course
Right.
not.
But we're talking perception. We're
And
talking
deal with
about
all this
perception.
bullshit. Like I don't think. Yeah, I mean, even just look who's voting right now. Look who comes through. Black women. I mean, we're just everything. I mean, It is what it is.
Oh, I brought tea so you can sip your tea.
Oh, sorry.
I just feel like there's gonna
Sarcastic.
be a lot of tea sipping in this, so I brought your tea for that reason.
Whenever I can't talk, I'm like, yo, let me
Yeah,
just grab
we
this.
just go. Well, and on top of that,
No, sorry.
I really like tea too. So I figured why not actually have all of my discussions over tea.
Right, right.
Where did filmmaking, where did that
Oh, that's a
creative
hard
bug,
question.
where did it start for you?
I think it started with my father, and my mother. My father is an engineer growing up, and my mother, she's a fine art artist and then went into education. So I think growing up, I always had like imagery placed in front of me that represented me. My parents were really good about putting black women figures in front of me. Whether even I was a video game nerd growing up too. So even
Mhm.
like video games,
Yeah.
the video game characters I would play were mostly black women because my dad would be like, search, 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 play this game. I was like, all right, bet.
I'm
I
trying
was
to think of
like,
like what games did we
Urban
have?
Chaos was a good one. I love that video game growing up.
Urban
It's
Chaos. I
such a
don't even know
dope,
this game.
one of the only few games back in the early 90s that featured a black heroine, and it was
Wow.
like I'm on this Matrix level tip too. It was super dope. But anyway, so I was
Because
always
like okay,
having
the
stuff like
black
that.
sci-fi and like solar punk, like
Yes, that
Afro
stuff was
punk
rad.
culture is so beautiful
I
to
love
me.
it. That's my vibe. Yep.
Right, to imagine
Mhm.
full realization and full manifestation of the black image, black culture, black identity unhindered
Yep.
by white
Social
hands.
norms, Eurocentric norms, anything. Yeah.
Who is her that your who is the her that this world is made in? The
Hmm.
image.
That's a good question. I've been asked this before. Some people have taken "made in her image" to be like more of a religious connotation, so I've had people get upset and try to call me out about it.
Well,
Um,
hence like the question of like, is
it
God a black woman?
is,
And is it
but
controversial?
yeah,
To me, no, though.
but it is. I mean, "made in her image" literally is kind of taking that "is God a black woman" phrase and kind of turning it on its head in a good way. It's there's a lot of similarities within the two, but it's about power, made in her image, and the fact that so many parts of the Bible are masculine. Again, it's not a biblical name, but so much of our societal norms are masculine, very patriarchal, and even how we explain things are masculine, which is not a bad thing. But so being able to have these young,
It is and it isn't.
yeah, these,
As a man, I would say it is
yeah,
and it isn't.
yeah, true. It's kind of like a mix.
It's a mix. I'm
Yeah,
not. I don't know. I'm over patriarchy.
yeah, same here. It's bullshit.
To be completely honest, and it is.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe there was a place before, but I think when you allow the space for women to actually lead and women to
Mhm.
create the culture and women to create
Yep.
the energy, when we actually can acknowledge that
It's power.
all energy is derived from a woman.
Yep.
I just the beginning of the world, the beginning of family, the beginning of light. It starts with woman.
Mhm.
As far as how I see, so that's my reality. That's my
Same.
fact.
Same here.
I can't be too much swayed on that.
No, I agree. It's power.
It's power.
That's what "made in her image" is. It's power. So, it's these young girls, and it's non-binary and non-gender conforming
Mhm.
youth as well. I'm taking the power into their own hands to really create things that represent them. So I mean, when, a young girl decides to say I am made in her image, they're basically saying I'm taking my power back and I'm going to make whatever I want to make and not be afraid, and it's being fearless and having a safe space to do so. Cool. So like for our launch, a lot of the girls got up at our premiere at CAA and they were like, now I want to be a filmmaker. Now I want to pursue this. And even like I've met with one of the girls recently because she's like, I want to be a filmmaker now. So I'm getting her on some sets.
Yeah.
And she'll be at the tour and stuff tomorrow and at the Disney tour. But it's just been really empowering for me to like reach down and to be able to develop and curate the next generation of film revolutionaries. I just want these girls to grow up and fuck shit up.
Yeah.
Like that's just the biggest thing cuz I grew up in a space in Arizona where there wasn't a lot of people who looked like me. And so like I was always like the only black girl in the room, same for film school, only black woman in every single class in film school, and it was for me I was used to the isolation,
Mm.
so being able to like really build an environment for other girls of color so they can push forward and create and build out crews and naturally know how to operate. I mean, how imagine to be 10 years old and you already know like what a first AC does. You know,
Bruh.
or what or
Imagine me my age
or what
and
a
just now
scripty
finding that out.
does. Like, I mean, these girls are gonna be so fire.
Yeah,
Like,
man.
you know, and
And the
then
work that they're doing is crazy.
yes,
Like I seeing those
yeah,
projects, I it wasn't like I didn't look at it and say like, oh, kids obviously did it. I was like, no, like they're putting
like I don't even
together.
know adults who could do
I don't
a
even know adults that can
full.
do it. Like, I mean, and
Yes,
you're giving them great cameras. I'm like, dude,
yeah,
you got adults using, $1,000 cameras, and they can even do what those girls did.
right, exactly. Yeah, these girls are fire. They're fire.
Like they are
I'm proud.
amazing.
I'm
Talk about that
proud.
feeling that you do get, because I mean, I feel the passion when you talk about it.
Mhm.
What as an empath, like I mean, it's visceral.
Yeah.
But talk about that feeling that you get when you do get a chance to
Mhm.
do a class, do a weekend long
Oh
course in Phoenix,
gosh,
or do a weekend
exhaustion.
long
I'm joking.
course. But no, but the feeling of giving back, that
Mhm.
I know you feel gratitude, but talk about that feeling that keeps you
It just
continuing on
yeah.
with Made in Her Image.
It's empowering. You know, we had our I think too for me the feeling that I have right now is just, empowerment and it just gives me a feeling of I don't know, I think it just feeds my soul in a lot of ways. We just launched this year. You know, we launched literally in June and like, we're already having really amazing partnerships. Even for LA, for us to literally have just launched in LA in October and we're already having like a partnering tour with Paramount and then Disney reaching out. I think to me that shows the power of what you can do with just an idea and just really curating something that's about it's not about me, it's not about the volunteers, the instructors or the mentor. It's really about these girls, moving
Yeah,
forward and creating a space for themselves and making what they want to make.
it is.
And the girls are so dope. They'll just do things like one of the girls did a Made in Her Image TV show on their own, or
Oh my
like
god, I love it.
we did an interview for this other TV show, and these girls are like they made a Made in Her Image theme song. It was just really it's just been so rad to like
Yes.
see how inspired they are. We do IMs. So that's the big thing. Made in Her Image isn't just about filmmaking. It's about positive affirmation. It's about diversity. It's about self awareness. It's about empowerment. It's really about them truly seeing themselves and being proud of those images. So like the little girls were right, like I am beautiful, I am smart. One girl got up at the beginning of our summit and was like, I am deserving. How the heck are you 15 and you get up and you're like,
Oh
I
my
am
god,
deserving?
that hit home.
To
Oh
me,
my
that's
god.
like adults don't think they're
No.
deserving.
Well,
I'm barely just learning that I am deserving. I think people who tend to do the most, we tend to be our own worst self critics.
yeah.
But I'm the first one to like write like a notebook of affirmations. I have like two vision boards, and even just when I get up, really manifesting what I want right away. Because I think I can wake up every day and say, one day I'm gonna have my own TV network, which is what I've been saying lately because I feel it lately.
Do it then.
I low-key am. I'm not
Wait,
even
no,
doubting
high
it.
key, high
I'm
key.
like not
Well,
lately I've been thinking in my head, I was like, what do
yeah.
I really want? I
What?
like literally just want to own a platform. Like not a YouTube channel, nah, that's cool, cute. No, I want a actual syndicated platform, like a network, because
It's done.
what actually hosts these TV shows? We're getting small little pieces of what we could have, like nuggets. And then that's the other thing too. For me, the biggest thing is really creating environments and characters that easily could have had like an all white cast, but we're placing people of color in them.
Yeah.
And it's not even just people who are of the African diaspora, but people who are like of color in
Yeah.
general. Like why can't why can't the lead on this be Latina? Or
Why can't the lead
indigenous.
on this be indigenous or
Yep.
Cambodian
Yep.
or Filipino or
Exactly.
Korean? And
Yep.
I hear you, right? Well,
Mhm.
because in my world, in the world that I'm creating, in the world that I'm always seeing in this future, is because when I grew up, I had friends across the entire rainbow. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
you can look out here into the live studio audience, but no, you can look out into even like the team that's here today, man, and it's like everybody's from a different walk of life.
Right. I love it.
And I'm not gonna say no bullshit like I don't see color, because I do and I love it.
Oh yeah.
I love that I see color.
It's just really disrespectful when people say
It is
that.
so
It's like,
disrespectful.
why? What's the point? What are you proving right now?
I
That
hate
you
it.
don't acknowledge me
You don't acknowledge my identity.
exactly.
You do not acknowledge the full brevity of what I'm here to offer to you. You
Mhm.
know what I'm saying? Like if you say that you don't see my color, you're not seeing a large part of who I
Exactly.
am as a man. You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying? Because yes, I'm a man, and I'm also a black man. You know, and I want you to acknowledge that. I want you to be cognizant of that because
Mhm.
there's a lot that comes with that. There's a lot of beauty that comes with it because black is beautiful
Yep.
in my world, in my perspective, and I don't. You don't have to be black to even say that or agree with that. You don't have to be black to say Black Lives Matter.
Mhm. Oh, of course.
You know,
Yeah.
and it hurts me that we're in this culture and this taboo culture where having pride in your identity is scoffed upon.
I think too it's also looking at just social norms and how people have been trained. And I think a lot of people have not been exposed to what equality really truly is. For some, equality is frightening
Hmm.
because then it means that, for some, equality is to them it means that a part of their power is being taken away,
Yeah.
and that's something I realized and noticed. Like even on a level as even as a creative woman and a black woman, when I speak out against something, there's always someone, usually a cis white male, who's like, "Well, what about me? I do this," or like, what was I was looking.
All lives
I was
matter.
looking, yeah, and I was like, bruh, no one ever said that you don't exist. We
Oh
all know
man.
you exist. It's fine. You're good. Me acknowledging that does not take anything away from you. And I think it's really important to look into how we as people have been, as across the board, whatever race, gender, ethnicity, how we've been socialized to feel power within things, the wrong things. And so for someone who sees me taking away their power by acknowledging myself, you have to look at this, how that socialization has, really been raised. And I think society as a whole is kind of, I don't know. I think society as a whole right now, we're hitting a really hard place where I think, this is gonna be crazy. I think in a few years there could be like a civil war or some type of huge civil
Yeah.
distress
Well,
because
there's a
of how the
bubble.
social norms have been like, I guess, congrued in a lot of
Yeah.
ways.
Well,
It's scary.
it's been like just building
Oh yeah.
up into this point. You know, it's like
Yeah.
right when you think, there's change and I'm not even saying like during the President Obama years, but just right when you think that like maybe like we're over it. Like
Mhm.
why there's no such thing as Nazis in 2018 or
Right.
2019 or
Or
there's
so we'd like to think.
or
Yeah.
so we'd like to think. Like you would just think that we're past that, right?
Right.
Right? Like we shouldn't even have to double think that, but then it's like you're reminded every
Mhm.
day and then you have a political change that is very very and sickeningly indicative
Mhm.
of the programs and malice that an entire society has, not just one creed or one people, because you have people of color and you have people of ethnic and diverse background
Mhm.
endorsing the modern political ways
Right.
that is only breeding hatred. It's only
Mhm.
preaching hatred.
Xenophobia and fear, it all comes down to that
Well,
one thing.
in the mission of equality and in the world where we see equality and we see no hate, we don't see um, people tearing each other down for differences, where does the world of Malachi come in to disrupt that?
I
Because that's part of your
That's a
influence.
good question.
You're a disruptor.
Yeah, I would that's a really good question. I would say that it's disruptive in the way that we give young girls, or Made in an Urban Image gives young girls that power to really be free in a curated space and not feel constricted.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's just revolutionary within itself because we're in a world right now that tells these young girls of color otherwise. We sexualize even girls of color from such a young age, or even the way that viral media, we're watching people getting basically digitally lynched multiple times, like in news, media, technology, and these kids are watching it and growing up, and they're going to be desynthesized from it. They're going to see it and not feel something. So I think the bigger thing that's disruptive is really allowing these girls and youth to feel something, to feel their power and to utilize their creative power for good.
But one of my favorite shows growing up, man, was the famous Jet
Oh
Jackson.
my gosh.
For Disney Channel to have a show where like it was a
The
black
lead.
lead.
Yep.
The family was a black family. His love interest
Mm.
was black, and I grew up a long time. I wanted to be a spy. I wanted to be a secret agent. I can't lie
Yes.
to you.
There's so
I can't.
many.
Dude,
So
oh,
many.
I wanted to be so bad.
Disney was good back then.
Disney
That's
was
so
great.
Raven,
That's so
Proud
Raven.
Family.
Yo, that's what I'm
Like,
saying. So
why?
I can't say I didn't grow up
Uh,
with
there were
with
some.
images. You know, there were some.
Cousin, do you remember Cousin
Cousin
Skeeter?
Skeeter. Woo! Woo! My first hamster's name was Skeeter because of that show. Yes, I love that show.
Yo, Cousin Skeeter.
Cousin Skeeter was like, oh man.
What was the other one? There's a few on. Okay. My favorite show on Disney was Taina. That
Taina
was dope.
Yo,
They had a Latina
Yeah, with the
woman
Latina,
led
yes.
television show. I mean, I think that was dope.
Taina was dope.
Yeah,
I love
that was
Taina.
cool.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
Raven.
Family
Proud Family
Matters.
was everything. Family Matters.
Oh,
Of course,
gosh.
Fresh Prince. My favorite
Fresh
show.
Prince, yeah.
My two favorite shows of all time are Avatar: The Last Airbender. That.
Oh yeah, me
we're not,
too.
We're not
Avatar
talking.
was
Now
fire.
that's a cartoon. but
Avatar was.
Avatar: The Last
Avatar was
Airbender is
fire.
like my favorite, but then also a different world. And you know
Mhm.
what? And so I had that, but I don't even think I understood the power of a different world as a kid. You know, I think I saw it, and it was, you know, by the time I was really watching TV, it was after a different world even aired
Right,
and had its
right.
regular run. Even Fresh Prince was still ending, you know, but we had Fresh
Yeah.
Prince. We haven't talked about that. Cosby Show, of course, but even a different world. I was in high school and I was in college more when I was able to kind of go back and dive into the episodes, and I was like,
Mhm. You're like, where was
where
this?
was I? Like, my God, like
I still haven't really watched A Different World. Yes,
man, like
I know.
Dwayne, Willie, Lisa Bonet still my bun. Like, it's wild. Like A Different World is one of my that's easily one of my favorite shows of all time.
Mm,
You know, because it's representation, at its most eclectic. You know, you see an HBCU where you see a full spectrum of what blackness can be.
right.
You know, because at least what I loved about the shows that we talked about with Proud Family and That's a Raven and Jet Jackson is that it showed blackness in a pure form. It didn't show it in this
You know.
programmed, you
Yep.
know, overly stereotypical fashion that
Mhm.
any other group would want us to be.
Exactly.
It showed, you know, it showed a wholesome black family raising a movie actor who was a
Mhm.
spy. It was a black family on the Proud Family, you know, that was like that was doing it, that was having its ups and downs, but they were no different, you know, than any
Exactly.
other family. You know, same with That's So Raven. You see a beautiful black family together, you know, in
Mhm.
the house
Oh,
too.
that show was hilarious.
Like, oh my God, like just everything about
Iconic.
That's So Raven is like great. So I saw that in a different world was like that. You know, you saw Dwayne trying to be, you know, he wanted to be a video game designer, and Willie
Mm.
wanted to be a art buyer, and
Yes.
you see all these different, you know, like Freddie was like a total hippie. It's like, so I loved seeing blackness in its full, you know, full spectrum of what it really could
Mm.
be. Um, and your world is creating that.
Thank
You know,
you.
it's creating a space where, like you said, you know, these young women and these young boys can grow up and see themselves unhindered and be whoever they want to be, and create a world
Mhm.
that is in their own image.
I think when it comes to representation, they give different communities of color or just different communities in general nuggets just to keep them satisfied. Oh, we got one black show. Oh, it's the best black show. Oh, we got Insecure. Cool. But like there's so much more media, films and digital content that's based towards empowering others. And I think we're not really searching for more. We're not really asking for more. We're just taking what they're proving and what they're giving us. So I think for me, it's really moving forward and giving people that opportunity one day to actually curate images that matter, that are more than just like the regular
Yeah,
the regular digital content that we're used to seeing. So
I hear it.
yeah,
Elevating the taste level,
I think so.
demanding more.
Well, yeah, it should be like, for instance, Breaking Bad, amazing,
Love the show.
amazing television show,
Love the
right?
show.
Why
Great
have
show.
there not been more television shows with like women leads
Mhm.
or people of color led that have that same dynamic?
Yeah.
Like we don't really have things like that. I mean, Netflix is really good about that.
Mhm.
Hulu is really good about syndicating and greenlighting. Amazon too, but I
Mhm.
think I feel like there's still something missing. So
No, there is. Well, because
yeah,
for me, I always see it as you get the cop out if you get difference
right,
outside of like the hood classic.
right.
Because every black story's got to be like from, you know, it's got to be the rags to riches.
Hood
It's got to be from the hood,
or slavery.
slavery or Medea.
Yeah, low key. Oh my
or
god, don't get me
it's
started.
like it's the southern
Don't get me
black
started.
family archetype,
Please
right?
get me started about Tyler Perry.
Okay. However, but there's cool stuff all in his own right that he's done for
uh,
in a sense.
okay, this is my thing. I think any. Okay, this is what I feel.
Let it out,
All
let it
right,
out, let it out. Get in
I
free zone.
I think Tyler Perry is great because he has given millions of people of color like jobs for
Yes.
what he's done. And he regularly does employ people. I think what he's built has been amazing.
Yeah.
But he's also built his career off of like a pick a nanny type character,
Mm-hmm.
um, from a social norm. Like it's kind of a mammy type character.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I have something against black men who do mammy type characters
Sure.
in order to rise above the ladder. So that's anyone that's dressing up as a woman.
Is it a degree of self hatred?
Um, I think so because you're not only socializing a norm that does not exist for black women, you're making a norm that black men have to dress up and de-emasculate themselves in order to prove a point and to be funny. And
Mm.
I mean, you don't gotta do that shit to be funny.
I hear
Eh,
you.
yeah.
I want to dive into your work. I know your latest
Yes.
project being Souls. Just the images alone. I think that's what we started talking about images
Yes.
because I was gonna say literally just. I mean, I've seen video shots. I've seen teasers, but when I tell you just the mere film shots that you have of the sets and of what you're making, what is Souls, and what are you creating with that in regards to image and diversity?
That's a great question. Souls came about when my great grandmother passed away last year.
My deepest condolences.
Thank you. I love her. She's amazing. That's why my sister, even started like her brand and whatnot. But yeah, Souls is like just about basically a young girl who is witnessing the death and passing of a grandmother, and she escapes into her own mind and within her own universe. So it's a really interesting story because the grandmother, she's an ex astro oh gosh, I can't say astrophysicist.
Astrophysicist, yeah.
Yeah, she's an ex NASA astrophysicist, and so it's like a very science and Afro
Yeah.
futurist approach to filmmaking, and also to all of the cast. They're all black women. So I mean, I really want to take something that easily could have been slanted towards an all white cast and make them all women of color. So it's beautiful, it's artistic. We built a spaceship. We went out to like
I think
the
physically
middle.
and metaphorically,
Yo,
like you, because
low key built a spaceship. Like,
yeah, like
yeah,
high key built the spaceship.
yeah, we built a spaceship set, which is really cool. Drove all the 4 hours out to like the desert. Where did we go? Oh yeah, the Petrified National Forest. We went to the Painted Desert,
Wow.
which was really rad. So we did so many things to really curate this universe around this little girl, the matriarch of her family, the death of this matriarch, and really to tell a story about self-awareness and empowerment. And also too, I think too when I look at mortality within the black community and mortality with women of color, I think there's always the same stories that are told, and I really want to tell a story of death and mortality that didn't have to do with a shooting or a police shooting, or didn't have to deal with like
Slavery.
slavery, or or just I just really wanted to tell
Yeah.
something that was just fresh and original and really just raw, and it just showcases what death is and how you lose someone. And oh yeah, the other element of the story is this grandmother. She's affected with Alzheimer's and dementia, so she's losing herself throughout the sequencing of the film. So you can see the non-linear. So there's a really huge non-linear
Mhm.
approach to the film as well, which is
You just tell me I have all these
interesting.
perceptions and even seeing the film shots because it's like I
Yes.
think in my head and and again you've told me none of the plot, so I can't spoil something I don't
Right.
know. However, I'm seeing it as the matriarch, as the grandmother is losing
Mhm.
some piece
Herself.
of herself.
Yep.
There's something being created in her granddaughter
Yep.
that is almost transferring the energy because is it not cyclical at the end of the day? Life not being cyclical,
Yes.
and is energy not cyclical? Love is not,
Exactly.
is love not cyclical?
Mhm.
And everything in life that when it goes around, it's gonna come right back around.
Mhm. Yeah, exactly. It's very I wish I could say it like you. We'll just go with that.
What?
It's my first narrative that I've done in a while. The
Mhm.
last narrative piece I did was like a shorter project. It was a part of a music video, and that one like went to Sundance Through the Horizon Award.
Wow.
So we got to screen that. It's called Into the Suffering. It's about a soldier affected with PTSD, and he's a single father. So this is kind of cool for me to like see what happens from this project,
Hmm.
because like I think when you're creative, for me there's always like a lot of self doubt in what I make, and I always am always fighting that imposter syndrome. So I just really want to see what the world thinks. But I think regardless, the imposter syndrome is gonna be there. But I just want to make sure I'm
Doesn't have to be.
pushing it there. Yeah, I know.
It
Just
doesn't
pushing
have to
forward
be,
and
man.
creating more images like this. So, yeah,
I see nothing about you being an imposter. Truly.
when you hear this.
I see nothing about you being an imposter. And exactly the kindness and the love that is given to you to help you reach your goals and
Yep.
aspirations, you're
Yeah.
giving that to little girls. So you can't be an imposter when you're only a giver.
Truth. I need to hear this. I need to hear this. I think too, it's almost like I've had so many like amazing women mentors in my
Hmm.
life, and mentors, male mentors too, who
Sure.
have like, "You're dope. How can I help you?" And I've always been like, "Why are you trying to help me? What is
Yeah.
it?"
Yeah.
I'm realizing too, it's just kind
Because you're
of.
dope and you do dope shit.
I also think it's about just carrying yourself in a way, and then surrounding yourself with the right people, manifesting what you want, and then too not being fearless. A lot of the opportunities I've had is because I'm like, all right, let me take this chance on myself and let me try.
Yeah.
And if I had never tried, I would have never been where I am today. And I think the biggest mistake I've made as a creative so far is that I've always done so many commercial content. I've done so much client content.
Mm.
I haven't done enough for myself. I haven't, created more narratives. I haven't created more of my own vision. So I'm just getting into that mode where I'm like, all right, let me make more for other people.
Well,
So
then this might be a
yeah.
perfect way to wrap. What is that lasting legacy then? How how does Malachi live on not just after 100 years?
That's good. I would say, yeah, I would say the lasting legacy comes from me just wanting to leave a foundation, something for other people to benefit off of. Because at the end of the day, it's not about me or what I'm leaving, it's the impact. And so, as long as the social impact is there and we're able to create better lives for other people, that's all that matters. So, I don't know if that's a good answer, but
I believe it
that's all
is.
that's all I care about is just helping other people. So,
You're doing it.
thank you.
Malachi, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
I love you like so freaking much too.
Love you too.
I'm never gonna try to like sit here and just be like, thank you for being here. Nah, like you, as I said in the beginning of this, you inspire me. You you inspire me by allowing me to see better versions of myself in the full spectrum of what that really can mean. So don't stop. Please don't.
I won't. Thank you. No, thank you for having me. I'm really excited for you. This is going to be a dope platform you're building. You're going to kill it.
Plan.
I know you can blow up. I'm going to see you on TV in a year.
Yeah, why not?
You
Why
will.
not?
Yeah.
The revolution won't be televised
I
though.
say things I never doubted. I'm like, no, this is going to happen.
Hey,
I don't really internally ever feel like it's wrong. I'm like, no,
no, it'll
this
happen.
is going to
I,
happen.
I know the revolution won't be televised. I'm wherever people need to be reached at.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I want to be.
Also, too, it's just providing a platform for artists
Yeah,
and really curating something that gives other people the power to speak out. So thank you for doing that.
of course. Anytime for you, okay?
Thank you.